Good morning, wherever you may be. We are in Japan. We are in Fuji, and as standard, the weather has arrived as well. We're in for several tropes of F1 history in the rain at Fuji. Qualifying was also wet, but on pole once again is Sergio Suarez. This is Adrian Michael Rees, and Christian Shepherd is alongside me once again, having endured the airplane, endured the weather. Everything all right there, Christian?
Just a little jet lagged.
We certainly are, but we're going to power through for this one. Race 1 of the weekend, with 3 more races to go after this one. And off they go. Aiello in second. Suarez looks like he hasn't. That being said, Aiello on the inside for turn 1. Suarez may not have bottled it as such, but in a surprising lack of spray going into the first turn, given the weather. Aiello leads. Nico Vert's up to second, his teammate. Suarez his teammate. And Suarez is going to fend off everyone else as the lights temporarily blind some of us from seeing what goes into Coca-Cola corner. On board with Nielsen.
He's got past Palou at the start as well.
Nielsen did quite well in qualifying, given the most recent streak of defeats, I suppose, from his perspective. Honda experience, Honda tuning on their arch enemy's turf, Toyota own the circuit, of course. We've got Camish and Palou in the Ford Focus, the handling suiting the Focus down to the ground. There's Thompson, the other Honda, with Fisichella, the first of the rear-wheel drives. Surprisingly clean, all things considered, as they go through Dunlop and the tightest chicane on the calendar.
Fisichella's been forced on the inside there.
And there's Wittmann, his teammate. Sabine Wittmann, contention for the title, obviously. Let's get her through and ahead of their teammate so he can play blocker to the rest of the field, including the privateer Honda of Rydell, once again scraping into the top 10, and Swinnerton, having celebrated quite well at Brands Hatch, back into the swing of things in the midfield. And there's still traffic jam through Panasonic and the final turn to complete the lap. Very well behaved, a lot of them, but of course this long straight now, powering past the fans, braking area for turn 1. All I can say is, once again, brace yourselves. On board.
Rydell's managed to get himself up to 10th. Gasho powering through.
And you've got Jamie Webber as well. Oh, bit of contact there. You can see Sweeney Field in that. Yep.
Webber.
Dumas and Webber were close. There's the 3M Ford of Biffle. Still no word on who's going to replace him.
Third. Verts has taken the lead, by the way.
Verts has taken the lead. Aiello down to second. Suarez technically lost second halfway through the first lap, as we all saw. Nielsen still in fourth. And long lap, so the lap count isn't too bad here. Give or take the weather. There's no time limit here. We will complete the 11 laps. It is a very short race, all things considered. And of course the wet tyres will behave differently to what we've been expecting from the Goodyears on the control tyre, as they've presented on every occasion that the circuit has been wet. Grass kicking up at the Dunlop chicane by the Alphas there. Saw that head onto the track. In fact, whilst I can't see it outside of my window, you can see on the camera that it looks like it is drying up.
Yeah,
so,
line being made.
Riddle me this: are they going to be pitting during this race?
I'd say it's still fairly greasy. Pitting might not be the best circumstance for anything at the moment.
Yeah, especially as a short race such as this, that is going to be a sizable gamble, unless it was absolutely necessary. Goodyear, well known for, well, they have to provide the best tyre. We do have certain strategists at our disposal who are saying no, they might not, but it's still expect the unexpected. You can see water skimming off the tyres at the hairpin there, turn 1. Wittmann still in 9th. Traffic jam starting to dissipate. Webber still in 12th there. Rydell hovering around the top 10, outside of the top 10. Swinnerton back to 15th. Butcher behind E-Day. Toyota's debut season, you'd think, much like Alpha's effort at Maggiore, you'd think Toyota would put more of an effort in for a car like this to be at the front of the field or closer to it. Swinnerton up to 14th as Schneider tries to go round the outside and obviously capitalising that. More grass to kick up there. There's a vast array of colours blasting past our screen there, past your shot of the race, and
Rydell down to 12th as Webber's team were taken somewhere in the melee there.
Yep.
Also, a bit of sunlight, isn't it, as well now?
Yep, we can see that shining off the windscreens as well.
And if the track heats up,
dried up very quickly.
There is always a chance.
So it's all about straight line speed and the handling throughout the tighter turns. But let's see what this wet weather tyre has in store for the remaining 7 laps of this race. Wirtz leads, Aiello second. No change since lap 2. Nielsen still in 4th. The two factory Fords doing quite well this time around. All things considered, Camish was effectively phoning it in at the end of the weekend at Brands Hatch, but respectable 6th. Still behind his teammate though on his rookie season. Questions will have to be asked if they're going to keep him on for the factory effort or let someone else have a go. A dry line appearing at the hairpin. Webber down the inside of Gasho for 10th. Schneider still 14th, E-Day 15th. So Swinnerton's fallen back again. So the Toyota performance starting to rise up only slightly. But 15th upwards is where you start paying out points. E-Day's going to get that if he stays there. Still short race, long way to go.
Very interesting battle between privateer and the manufacturer there, going side by side throughout the complex.
Most of the privateers are at the back of the pack, including Swinnerton, including Dumas, who we've normally seen closer to the front. Felix Rydell normally there or thereabouts as the third person, poking into the top 10 on occasion. Kobayashi and let's say the 3Ms have known to getting the attention in the top 10. Now Wirtz still leads. You can see where it's dry now. That is obvious. That's a lighter shade of grey into Coca-Cola corner. Aiello still behind Wirtz. Suarez might just be holding Nielsen. Well, yep, we can sort of see that. Palou 5th, Camish 6th. So no major change at this portion of the grid. Thompson 7th, Fisichella 8th. Jamie Webber making more progress than we saw earlier. Go on, Christian.
So this is why we're seeing Webber suddenly showing up at the moment. Is that during these dry conditions and intermediate tyres, they're going to be wearing out quite substantially at the front. Whereas Webber being in the rear drive car will actually have substantially more grip in situations like this.
As would the two Alphas.
Exactly. Well, that's why we're seeing the the sudden emergence of Webber from what was at one point 13th place is now 9th.
Certainly was. So a brief glimpse of Swinnerton going into the Dunlop turn and the hairpin knee chicane. These newer turns visible since 2005-2006 when the circuit reopened. Next corner you see in the exit of Panasonic, the final bend. Wittmann in 10th. And as luck would have it, it looks like everybody is making a beeline for the pit lane. We did not expect that. Let's see what happens with Swinnerton though. Will they... It looks like they are actually going to take the gamble. Does the pit line matter? No, okay, he was...
He's going to the wet line to cool his tyres down.
That is going to pay dividends if everyone else, and here we go. First time we've seen a pit stop in the World Super Championship, and it's like buses. Everyone else has done them except for Swinnerton. So he's on the exit of the first turn. What looks like nothing but oxygen behind him out of Daiichi. But there's Wirtz. The positions haven't really changed. So that was very well orchestrated by everyone involved to get in and out of the pits.
Webber's dropped
with no... To a degree, yeah, they were quite close maybe, but...
Oh, no, sorry, explains because Swinnerton not pitting. But they've dropped from 9th onwards. Sorry, I thought there was another change in the pits.
And halfway through the race, that pit stop occurred. Track now visibly dry, which is why the pit stop took place. But Swinnerton has now what appears to have been caught up by the train of pitters who are now on better tyres. There's Wirtz. Swinnerton looks to be struggling. So I think that's going to be his call to make now. It looks like he's been called in.
Necessarily, again, they're going to cool the tyres off there. We'll see if he does indeed pull into the pits.
It's fairly obvious that the performance in that single lap, there was no way he was going to be able to maintain that with this entire surge of cars now on the right compound for the remainder of the race, which should mean flat out or out then, because no need to worry about tyre management for the remaining portion like we've seen in so many other races. Game on. Aiello still having in the back of Nico Wirtz. Webber's got the fastest lap currently, but it looks like Aiello, we saw him trigger a purple sector there, but it's going to be hard to see if Jimmy Webber will have done that, having triggered that sector just then. We won't be able to go back and see it. We'll just have to wait for the lap to complete, but it's still surprisingly unchanged. Hats off to everyone in the pits for getting their pit stops done without minor or even major error. Webber, perhaps the only noticeable issue there. Well choreographed. Webber in 9th, trying to chase down Fisichella once more. And he's, we just saw him trigger a lap that was 2 seconds faster than his previous. And of course they are going obviously faster. Here's Nielsen down the inside for 3rd, and that's the biggest improvement we've seen from him all season. Suarez down to 4th. Unfortunate, but obviously it's not as bad as what happened in moments prior throughout the season, falling back due to putting a very well focused and committed fastest lap for qualifying, but still can't seem to pay for that in championship points. Palou in 5th with Camish in the mirror. Yep, you see him in the mirror there. Carlos, what's the slipstream going to provide from that Scirocco in front? Is he going to gain 4 seconds faster than his previous lap, or previous best lap in that regard?
Suarez about to make a move on Nielsen. Not Suarez, sorry. Yes, Suarez about to make a move on Nielsen there. Ooh, A slight bump there from Camish.
Was a bump from Camish. I'd like to think that was inadvertent, but we'll have to find out later. Palou down the inside of Suarez at Coca-Cola.
Not quite.
The move could be on later if something like that is going to be attempted that early in the lap. However, that attempt has allowed Camish to provide another bump draft, so to speak. No, he hasn't, into the hairpin. Fisichella all over the back of Thompson. Webber all over the back of him, and Whitman chasing them also. Gasho in 11th. But Wirtz and Aiello are already into Dunlop on the hairpin and the chicane. Everyone else from about 15th back is now split apart from this chain. Rydell in 13th, Dumas in 14th. The privateer action still going strong. E-Day in 15th. Not a good look for Toyota on home ground if Butcher is going to be in 17th. And Swinnerton, yeah, that gamble I don't think paid off. He is now plumb last. So the exact opposite of what happened at Brands Hatch, where he qualified last, and by the time we got to race 2, he'd won the damn thing. So my hopes of him claiming the Privateer Championship with that win are on ice for the time being, but it depends how high these Privateer drivers can get in the championship standings, because Swinnerton has tended to eclipse them all in each of the rounds so far. We'll have a look at the standings when we get to the end of race 2. But for now, that chain or train of cars is still there between 3rd and about 13th, with Wirtz and Aiello through 100R into the hairpin. There's Dumas bringing up the back of that particular peloton. Yes, Rydell hovering, sort of hopping between 14th and 10th. Schneider behind him. Gasho in 11th. Wittmann still in 10th.
Webber looks like he's attacking Fisichella into the chicane. Doesn't look like he'll pull it off though.
Yeah, it's one of the awkward ones. You'd think with all that wide open space going into that turn, they'd get the overtake done, but it's so narrow in that chicane. It's almost like a redundant piece of real estate. The chicane was bypassed last season, and the effect was much the same. There was no gamble being made at all. Everything seems to focus on getting everyone to make all the mistakes in all these zigzags leading up to the final turn of Panasonic, and then putting the boot in past all the spectators on the main stand, as you'll see on the left hand side of your screen. On board with Webber, on the roof with Webber.
Yeah, the attack from Thompson's actually put into the clutches of Fisichella at the moment. Obviously, that Honda's just got a bit more pace in that Alpha.
Gasho with the fastest lap so far in 11th, getting some decent slipstream. Fisichella down the inside of Daichi, but it looks like Thompson's got the power advantage on the exit. Went into Coca-Cola.
Wide line from the BMW as well, although we're a bit slow.
Not today, but then again, what are we seeing here? They're in 10th. What's going to happen at the end of race 1? They're going to reverse the grid from 10th. So, obviously, the World Super Touring Championship organisers have come up with a decision of what they're going to do for the next season. All we've been told is, Fisichella there in 9th. All we've been told for the reverse grid is 30 seconds. What that means, we don't know. I can only assume that whoever's within 30 seconds of the leader will take pole for race 2, and then whoever's ahead will be swapped position then. So the leader back to whoever finished within the 30 seconds, I think is the rule. I will be correct if I'm wrong on this. That will be what happens for season 2. It perhaps avoids any sandbagging. To a degree it doesn't make sense, and it provides more of an incentive to a degree for those behind to actually get within 30 seconds of the leader by the end of the race. Not what we're seeing on track right now, where you'll see like 14th downwards, or in the case of, no, there's someone behind him, so that's 15th downwards, exiting the final turn now. Them a bit more incentive. As we go into the final lap, we're on board with Schneider, on the roof of Schneider's car, Sophia Schneider. Outbraking right, Del. Nope, that's going to be a bump, surely. Nope. Well played, well defended, well avoided by Schneider. As Duma in the privateer, BMW is still behind her. Echoes of Brands Hatch, but only for P13. Pulu still in 5th. Promising season. No golden standout moments. Well, to a degree, there was one win early on in the season, but this has been a remarkable showing up of the team leader Ryan Camish.
Oh,
Nielsen in
past
3rd.
Camish
Thompson has passed Camish, yes. So maybe he should be in the 4 instead next season. Let's see. Let's see what we can wind up as these final zigzags are taken by the midfield and the leaders. Wirtz is now into Net's corner. It's effectively that long prolonged right turn into a tighter right turn, as you're seeing right now. Left, other left. Exit a Panasonic. Wirtz leading, and it's job done, unless something really stupid happens to the powertrain of the Volkswagen. Nope, it's all good.
Not quite a Vauxhall.
The defending champion has won once more. 2nd win of the season.
Fantastic result from Nielsen there as well.
In fact, that's been quite some time actually, because his first race win was in the first round of the season, Interlagos. Long time between drinks for Wirtz. Ayalo 2nd. Nielsen with a very promising 3rd, if a little too late for his stature as a racing driver. We'll see him in the pits next season as the rest of them cross the line. Swinnerton about to take the final turn there, but I think the world feed will cut off shortly, unless now we're still focused on the race winner there, as the track is now completely dry. It's just unfortunate that the gamble on wets did not pay off for our previous race winner there. We'll see you for race 2, top 10 reverse grid, of course. More action and hopefully weather like this, so we can see what happens with the tyre gamble. Good racing, everyone.